All right, time for the gaming segment of the show, and today I've got a pretty big one that I've been waiting to play for a while, and it's Mad Max, the new Mad Max game, which is on the PC and the PS4 and Xbox One, and it's a very big title, but there have been some controversies and differences in opinions of whether it's good or not, and well, let's go over the story first. This Mad Max game is sort of based on the new Mad Max movie, Fury Road, but it's not following the same storyline. It's more of an open world game, and in fact, Mad Max the video game is so open world, a lot of critics are calling it the open world game. I mean, it's basically everything that you can expect in an open world game is in this. So what's the story? Well, the story of this game is that you start out playing as Max, and your car is, well, you're trying to escape your path and your car gets captured and destroyed. So you got to rebuild a new car. But as you rebuild the car and enhance its powers and speed and all of that stuff, well, you start to find a new purpose in your quest. So, is the gameplay any good? Well, we're going to have to jump in and check it out, so let's go take a look.
Now these streets are paved towards nowhere.
Won't somebody tell me an answer if you can? I want someone to tell me what's the soul of a man.
Before this, we were taught it took a hero to change things. But we never got a hero. We got him. The man they call Max.
So, is the gameplay any good? Well, the gameplay feels actually, it's sort of like a mix between Shadow of Mordor and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you've got this very big open wasteland, and you get to go around exploring it, fighting people, discovering things, collecting scrap to improve your upgrades and stuff like that, and leveling your character up. And it's sort of like Black Flag in the sense where you have a car and then you have on-foot stuff. So, like in Black Flag, some people really liked just the ship pirate part, and other people only like the running around, jumping, stabbing people part. And Mad Max is sort of the same, where it's got the car combat part and the racing, and also getting out of the car and exploring and punching people around. So whether you like both aspects of the game, it's really quite personal, but the gameplay itself does feel very, very solid, because the combat is sort of like the Batman Arkham combat system, where it's sort of quick time events, you can counter and parry, and then you punch them back down. But there isn't a lot of variety in the combat. Like there aren't a lot of weapons, and there's a decent option, but combat does start to feel a little bit samey after a while, but it still feels good. So what it is good. And the car stuff actually feels very, very nice. Though some people have difficulty controlling the car, especially if you happen to flip the car over and crash it somewhere, it can get a little tricky. So whether you're using the controller or the mouse and keyboard, well, again, personal preference. I think the controller actually feels a bit better than the mouse and keyboard, but to each their own. Now, some downsides to Mad Max is that, first of all, the story, I mean, Mad Max, like the new movie, isn't really known for its in-depth story. There's a lot of, it's quite a straightforward story. And the game actually feels less story-based, it's less narrative-driven, and it really more is about the gameplay than the story. So it's sort of like an Assassin's Creed, but with less story. And if you're not too concerned about the story, then you'll probably like Mad Max. But if story is something that's your main motivator to actually get through the game, then you're probably going to struggle finding that motivation. But if you like open world stuff, as in you like collecting things, you like leveling your character, you like collecting scrap and upgrading your car, it feels great. Especially car-to-car combat, you get this sort of a harpoon, and you get to use this harpoon to shoot people and take out tires and crash people into walls, and that's really, really great. And even the environment, I'm going to mention the biggest point. The first thing that's going to strike you about Mad Max is it looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely fantastic, just visually. And despite it being set in a barren wasteland, each area does actually look quite unique and quite impressive. You'll be surprised how they can make rocks and sand look very, very good. So these are sort of the pros and cons of Mad Max, and this is why it's sort of been critiqued quite badly, but fan feedback has actually been quite positive. So that's the kind of dichotomy it's been facing. So, is the new Mad Max game for you? Well, if you like the gameplay of open world games like Assassin's Creed, Shadow of Mordor, and maybe the combat from Batman Arkham, well, then you're gonna love Mad Max. But if you were more into the storyline of those other games and you really like the narratively driven experience, Mad Max might feel a little lightweight for you. And it is a AAA game, so it's not cheap, whether it's on the PC or the console. So it really is all about the gameplay. And if you like driving around, blowing things up, you like shooting people, you like punching people and car racing and taking out other cars, vehicular combat, then all that gameplay stuff is very, very solid. And I do have to mention, unlike Batman Arkham Knight, the game itself is highly optimized on the PC and console. It runs, on my computer, it ran at 60 frames a second, solid, no dips, frame rate was solid, and it doesn't really lag at all. And it's highly optimized, so that's always very, very nice to see. So overall, Mad Max is a very solid title, and as long as you like the gameplay, you will love it. Now, before I go, I would like to thank our wonderful hosts here, which are Epic at Empire Damansara. They've got some lovely coffee and some other nice little drinks over there. So I'm going to get one after this.
Oh, sadly we're at the end of another episode of Gadget Nation, and I'm sad because I've had a lot of fun here today. It's a bit chilly in the event hall now that everyone's left, but it's okay because I gotta check out some fiery gadgets. Oh, yes indeed. I wish I could have seen a few more things here as well, like the Smart Band 2, etc. But concerning everything we've seen here today, we'll keep you updated in terms of price, obviously just for the premium one that we saw slightly earlier on. In the meantime, my name is Adam Carruthers. You can find us online. Just look up Astro One. Everything you would want is there. It's very, very easy. I'm gonna get stuff ready for next week. Until then, bye-bye for now.